Salut! En 2025, l'intelligence artificielle permet de lancer des business ultra rentables. Jusqu'à 1 million de dollars par an. Certains montent des agences ou vendent des prestations à 10 000 dollars par mois, sans salarié, juste avec les bons outils. Aujourd'hui, on te résume en 10 minutes les meilleures vidéos du moment pour découvrir comment exploiter la puissance des agents IA pour créer ton business. On commence avec un constat clair, l'IA est en train de bouleverser tous les secteurs. Et ceux qui ne s'adaptent pas vont se faire dépasser. Première idée de business, lancer un service de traduction automatisé. Tu localises des contenus vidéo, des articles ou des sites en un clic, et tu vends ça à l'échelle mondiale.
Okay, our next AI-powered business is an AI-powered translation service. Businesses and content creators need multilingual capabilities in order to reach larger markets. The global market presents a massive opportunity. So, for example, if you look at Mr. Beast's multilingual YouTube channels, they're growing his brand absolutely exponentially. Now, there are tools like 11 Labs out there already that can automate content translation for websites, blogs, and videos, and you can even build out your own AI content translation service using OpenAI's API or things like Claude that does this automatically. If you focus down on a specific niche, whether it's creators, whether it's something like wealth managers working with clients who might not speak English as their first language, you can really double down on this and make it as easy as possible. Translation as a whole and human translation is a massive market, and this can all be automated with AI. At number 3 on today's list, and apologies if this one sounds a little bit obvious, but it's AI podcast services, and it's something you could jump into right now. The podcast market is rapidly growing and projected to reach 134 billion by 2029, and there are 2 key opportunities here. We can either take podcasts and summarize them and then turn them into blog articles, or we can extract short form clips from long form podcasts for social media using tools like Opus AI. Now, you don't need to build out your own AI tools to compete against these. You might just want to start a company that services existing large podcasters and use the AI tools to run this as a solopreneur, but still make a healthy profit margin where busy podcasters and large brands just don't have the time to jump into even AI tools themselves. If you do want to build out your own AI tool in this business opportunity, then I definitely think about the niche you're going after. So for example, there might be a specific niche of podcasts, maybe finance podcasts or gaming podcasts, where they need the summarization or the speech to text format converted into a very specific example template. So it might be that there's a specific way a podcast likes their summary presented to their listeners or converted into a blog post. And if your tool allows for that and really goes after that specific demographic with all your marketing, then you're going to win over existing incumbents in the market. Now, my number 4 AI business opportunity for 2025 is AI data visualization. AI can generate viral infographics that simplify complex data. And some of the benefits here that you might not have considered, that things like infographics or charts can often be used for SEO or driving backlinks when they're posted onto Google. And this can also improve conversion rates because people click on these images in Google search. Outside of the SEO and marketing niche, we can also use data visualization in things like research. So you could target who are dealing with large data libraries and need to quickly turn these into compelling graphs or visualize them in order to discern some of the implications of that data. And even just infographics themselves are hugely scalable on social media to grow accounts. If you want to get some inspo for this, there are tools like Pictochart that are out there already, but you can go deeper and dive into a niche and make this even more compelling with AI and some good user interface.
On passe maintenant aux agents IA qui permettent de construire un business à 7 chiffres, sans aucun salarié. Premier agent, celui des opérations. Il documente les process, organise les tâches internes et permet de tout structurer sans erreur.
I love to start with an agent that will add revenue fast because profit solves all problems. If I can increase my income using AI, then I can reinvest in other areas of my business to grow. So what do you get your closer AI to focus on? Number 1 is lead intelligence. Think about all the research, all the scraping, all the qualifying, all the data enrichment. All of that is lead intelligence and not something a human has to do anymore. The second is closing support. Think about doing research on a prospect, pulling previous chats, previous conversations, transcribing any conversations that have been had to summarize them to provide you context for the salesperson to have the call. Closing support is a big piece of work that doesn't add a lot of value that AI is perfect for. And the third is qualifying bot. This is my favorite. Using a bot that can take some kind of request or inquiry or somebody calls your business and qualify them using voice AI. This is the future that's here today. I actually seen one company called Breezy.app that does it for all the plumbers, the HVACs. Essentially, any call that comes in that doesn't get answered gets picked up by the AI. Ask the question to the customer, what are you looking for? Is it an emergency? Do you need somebody to show up today? Are you cool spending $500 to $1,500 for that call? And all of a sudden, the plumber who couldn't take the call is now coming back to their truck in seeing a customer call that's booked and managed by an AI bot in their calendar. If you do not have AI involved in your sales process, you're just not making as much money as you can be. So once you get your sales flowing, next you got to work on increasing your capacity.
Autre agent incontournable, celui de la prospection. Il capte les leads, les qualifie automatiquement et fait gagner un temps fou avant même le premier appel.
It is an AI voice-generated Arnold's Pump Club. That is the level we've gotten to. I can tell you there are millions of people listening to that podcast every day and has no idea that Arnold has never done one of those episodes. And guess what? The AI bot never gets writer's block. The AI bot never lost for information. And it knows more about what its audience is resonating with based on the comments and the feedbacks and the clicks in the email to just propel that forward. That's why the amplifier bot is such a powerful area to focus on. So how do you teach it? Well, first off, you want to use it for content analysis. You want to look at what you're doing and what's not working and what's working, and then ask it to look at both of those and say, here's the difference. I can give it 5 emails that crushed in regards to click-through rates and opens, and I can give a bunch that didn't do that well, and it will tell me where my opportunities are to write a better email next time. The second is the content checker, and this is all about focusing on your brand's voice and tone. If you've created everything so far, good. That means you have a library of information that the AI can literally analyze, and then as new people write stuff for you or create outlines or whatever you're doing, it can check the content against that tone to say it doesn't fit. I have this for myself and allows my writing team to support me in my creative projects without me being involved. It's way faster and more productive. Number 3 is content creation. And this is when you think of like the video to the reel, to the newsletter, to the tweets. At the end of the day, with AI, I can have it support the outline of the video and then take the transcript and support the editing of the reels and then create the newsletter to promote the video, then extract some insights, some aphorisms that become my tweets, all based on stuff I've created.
Et si la méthode la plus fiable pour gagner de l'argent avec l'IA, c'était tout simplement le consulting. Un expert montre ici comment automatiser des processus internes pour des entreprises déjà rentables, en utilisant des outils comme Make ou Airtable. Résultat, moins de 10 heures de travail pour le consultant et $12 000 d'économie pour le client.
This model gets 3 stars for certainty, since it's guaranteed that with the right playbook, we can make money doing this. And for me, these days, my base retainer is around $10,000 and my fixed costs are like a couple $100 a month. So it's highly profitable. And peeling back the curtain in terms of what the actual process of doing this type of consulting looks like, what we're doing is identifying a target client, setting up a call, running them through our sales playbook, which includes building rapport, making a grand statement, grounding the conversation by demoing a portfolio project and calling out the problem statement, constraints, inputs, logic, outputs, then shifting the conversation back towards learning about their business so that we can scope a project. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's all just a carefully executed tee up to get our prospect talking about their business, because from there, we're going to take what we learned in order to identify a problem set or growth constraint that we can solve in order to create value. So let's say that our client runs a talent agency and they spend 10 hours a week gathering creative assets from their clients and onboarding new clients, sending out contracts, logging data, so on. We can use no-code tools like Make and Airtable that you see here in order to create a workflow that handles all of that for them in a totally automated way, all without writing any code. And if they bill $300 an hour and we're saving them 10 hours a week, over a course of the month, that's $12,000 in value creation, which is why we're easily able to justify, say, a $5,000 retainer. And notice how I mentioned that we usually work on a retainer basis instead of a project. That's because the nature of building tech just constantly sort of begets more. Once we implement a workflow, our clients will usually turn around and ask if we can add more features on top of what we initially built or create more structural automations downstream of whatever we solved for. I mean, on average, my retainers generally span around 6 to 8 months, even when a client only anticipates moving forward with a single build at the outset of our engagement. The big thing that trips people up with this model is that they conflate building automations with doing deep technical work.
On termine avec les vraies pépites de l'IA, les agents intelligents à très forte valeur. Certains valent déjà $20 000 par mois, mais encore faut-il savoir les diriger. Ce n'est pas une question d'achat d'outils, mais de compétences en pilotage. Deuxième levier, créer une agence de contenu automatisée. SEO, articles, e-books, publication, tout est généré, optimisé et vendu.
When they say AI is going to take away jobs, some people are saying it's going to make more jobs. This is where it's going to make more jobs, but only for the people who learn the skill and understand it. So looking at this, let's take a look at some of the things that this is going to do and some of the things that you can do with it. Again, if you want these notes and the whole breakdown, you can go to aiprofitscoop.com and get them, print them out, and get all kinds of other tools as well. Now, what we're talking about here is running an AI-driven agency. As we can see, a lot of people on Reddit were talking about OpenAI charging $20,000 a month for these agents and what it meant. And a lot of people were seeing the light. They're like, hey, I get it. This makes sense, because if I was going to have 3 or 4 PhDs at $20,000 a month, that's a lot of money. I can have 20 grand for the AI to do this in a very specific way. We are also seeing this is taking over programming and different things like that. So understanding where this is going and what you can do, what we need to do now, if you want to do this side hustle and actually be sustainable in the future, learn these skills and learn how to make AI do these skills. Learn how to become an AI-assisted programmer, where you don't need to know programming, you just need to know how to use the AI and what tool to use. Very, very important, because looking at this is key. What I did early on with AI is I learned how to make content with it. I went through and I learned how to make blog posts that would rank on Google, learned how to make it so that humans would actually want to run it, and I created a system that I was then able to teach over 20 different outsourcers, and now we can create content over and over and over again, and I just simply upcharge for my expertise and my ability to run the show, and I make a lot of money, more than I ever thought possible. Again, this is something that is game-changing if you use it properly. So one of the things you can do is you can use this as a side hustle to make an AI-powered content creation agency.
L'intelligence artificielle transforme complètement le business en ligne. Que tu veuilles vendre des services, automatiser une agence ou créer des outils à forte valeur, tout est faisable avec un peu de méthode. Tu sais ce qu'il te reste à faire. Abonne-toi, active la cloche et explore nos autres vidéos pour construire un business solide.